Right, so before I even begin to recount this ordeal, this utter travesty of a supposed vacation experience, I feel I must preface it with a little context. You see, darling, I've been extraordinarily fortunate. My upbringing, shall we say, afforded me a certain discernment, a keen eye for detail. It's not arrogance, it's simply that I've been exposed to, well, better. And when something falls short of that baseline and oh, it fell. It didn't just fall, it plummeted into a chasm of despair I feel almost morally obligated to share. Dante, you agree? It's not about being difficult, it's about upholding standards. It's about justice, really. It's a victim mentality, I'm a protector. I was, you see, anticipating a blissful escape to Zanzibar, Jambiani to be precise, a little slice of paradise, a pause from the relentless societal pressures. A moment of tranquility before diving back into everything. And I stumbled upon, or rather was lured by the promise of the Loop Beach Resort. The images, oh, the images. Azure waters, pristine sands, bohemian chic bungalows, a siren-esque call to the aesthetically sensitive soul. A fraud, a blatant, egregious fraud. It began, innocently enough, with a craving, a simple desire for a pina colada. A creamy, tropical indulgence, but what they dared to present to me as a pina colada, was an abomination. Imagine, if you will, a concoction of curdled milk, vaguely pineapple-flavored cleaning fluid, and a generous dusting of regret. The color alone was alarming, a sickly yellow-gray. I took a tentative sip and a wave of nausea washed over me. It tasted, and I apologize for the indelicate imagery, like sadness. Like the disappointment of 1,000 unfulfilled dreams. I requested, politely, mind you, because civility is paramount, even in the face of adversity, a replacement. And was refused. Refused, can you even fathom such audacity? They simply stared at me, these individuals who claimed to provide hospitality, with a vacant, unsettling indifference. Like I was asking for the moon. This, my dears, is a foundational problem. A complete disregard for the basic tenet of customer service, making the customer happy. It sets the tone, it whispers, we do not care. It's a form of emotional abuse, frankly. And then the checkout. Oh, the checkout. The slow, agonizing descent into further disillusionment. We, and by we, I mean my companion and I, had foolishly paid in cash, a decision I deeply, deeply regret. Why? Because, darling, in a civilized society, one always receives a receipt. It's not about mistrust, it's about accountability. It's about maintaining a transparent record of transactions. It's a basic requirement of commercial decency. But here, no receipt, just a vague wave of the hand and a dismissive shrug and a creeping sense of unease. Like the air itself was thick with dishonesty. We left feeling violated, not physically, of course, but emotionally and financially. The feeling lingers, you understand. It taints the entire experience. It makes you question everything. It makes you feel small. And it happened again and again. They didn't just ruin one vacation, they ruined a dream. You see, my darling Robert, my fiancé, had, with such painstaking care, booked this as a honeymoon getaway. 3 months in advance, a testament to his devotion, a beacon of hope after years of navigating the complexities of modern romance. And they canceled it without informing us, without a shred of professional courtesy. Can you believe the level of ineptitude? We discovered it ourselves by sheer chance after countless unanswered emails and phone calls. When we finally managed to speak to someone, the explanation was breathtakingly insulting. Lack of payment, they claimed, despite the fact that my Robert had provided his card details at the time of booking. It was a lie. A clumsy, transparent lie, and the worst part, they offered no apology, no solution, no gesture of goodwill.
Nothing. It was as if our feelings, our dreams, our meticulously planned future meant absolutely nothing to them. It wasn't just the cancellation, it was the utter lack of empathy, the cold, clinical indifference. It was a violation of trust, a shattering of hope. It's a trauma, honestly. It's enough to make
You know, I was looking into crimes near the Loop Beach Resort Jambiani, and oh boy, it's like, businesses around there can be super shady, you know. Like some traders didn't even pay their taxes, can you believe it? They just took the money and ran, leaving the government with nothing. I predict the authorities were like, what's going on here, and started investigating, but who knows how far they got. Maybe some people got in trouble, maybe they didn't. It's like you expect people to be honest, but nope. And then there were these commercial banks, right? They were doing all sorts of illegal stuff, like fraud and money laundering through mobile banking services. It's like, how could you know, people trust these banks with their money and they're just playing with it. I think the authorities must have found out and been like, oh no, we gotta stop this. But I'm sure some people lost a lot of money, and that's just so sad. And oh man, there were these point-of-sale machines in local businesses, right? They were rigged to steal people's money, like unauthorized services and stuff. It's like, how do you even do that to people? I predict the victims were like, what's going on with my money? And the businesses were just, oh sorry, it's a mistake. But it was no mistake, it was on purpose, you know. And you know, there were even fake job offers, like people promised jobs that didn't exist just to get people's money. It's like, how could you do that to someone who's just trying to make a living? I think the victims must have been so disappointed, and their trust was broken, you know. It's just like businesses near the Loop Beach Resort Jambiani can be really sketchy, you know. You gotta be careful or you'll get scammed. But I mean, I'm sure there are good businesses too, you know. Maybe, hopefully, I don't even know anymore. The reality of businesses near the Loop Beach Resort Jambiani. Businesses near the Loop Beach Resort Jambiani are a cautionary tale. They promise paradise but often deliver disappointment. You'll find hotels with no regard for basic comfort, restaurants serving food that borders on criminal, and so-called experiences that feel more like scams. Let's get into it. Hotels where comfort goes to die. Hotels in this area treat guests like temporary inconveniences rather than paying customers. Sharazd Boutique Hotel is a prime example. Rooms without air conditioning leave everything damp, clothes never dry, and the staff's reaction to theft is to shrug and offer grainy security footage that proves nothing. One guest paid for 2 nights but was forced out after just 5 hours. No refunds, no flexibility, just a cold checkout at 10 a.m., even after arriving at 5 a.m. from a delayed flight. If you enjoy feeling like an unwelcome burden rather than a guest, this is the place for you. Restaurants, a masterclass in mediocrity. Dining near the Loop Beach Resort is like playing Russian roulette with your stomach. Bahari Pizza Restaurant Bungalows serves food so questionable, it's a miracle no one has been hospitalized permanently. Dry, overcooked seafood, pasta with shrimp that smell like they were pulled from a dumpster, moldy bread served without apology. And if that's not enough, staff have been caught dumping trash directly into the ocean, right where children play. The pizza, imagine cardboard with ketchup and a sprinkle of sadness. Multiple guests reported stomach pains afterward, which is never a good sign unless you enjoy spending your vacation in the bathroom. Cultural experiences, tourist traps in disguise. Mwani Zanzibar sells itself as a community-driven seaweed tour, but in reality, it's a well-rehearsed scam. You'll pay to watch women tie seaweed to ropes, something you could see for free if you just walked along the beach. Then, you're ushered into a room where women pretend to make soap while perfectly clean, unused equipment sits nearby. The price is absurd. A tiny jar of cream for $17 with no proof the money actually helps local women. One guest described it as a comedy show, which would be funny if it weren't so insulting. The bazaar, a work in lack of progress. The bazaar is new, which might explain the disorganization, but not excuse it. Staff seem confused by the concept of customer service. Want to eat there? Good luck getting anyone to take your order. The only